Dismas, let me begin with you. King Charles acknowledged in his speech there, which was done in both Swahili and English, he acknowledged the abhorrent and unjustifiable acts of violence committed against Kenyans during the independence struggle. What do you make of that almost apology?
Well, I guess he did what is expected to do, because the person who can actually give an apology is the Prime Minister of UK, given that the Prime Minister is the one who runs the show. But for the Prince, he's merely a head of state. He doesn't have any executive power.
Yeah,
sorry, the king, yeah. Yeah, sorry, my apologies. The transition has been complicated for me. Yeah, so the king doesn't have any powers to do that. And, you know, from your conversation, it looks like, if you look at a human being, it looks like part of the civil society in Kenya are very keen on post-mortem. So they are pathologists, they want to go back to history, they want to know the cause of death while we know the cause of death, instead of being like physicians looking at the future. So even when you are doing accounting, there are some people who are experts in financial accounting because they're very keen in the past. In my view, we should be looking at management accounting, looking at the future. The people from the UK were here a long time ago. They visited parts of Kenya with the atrocities. And in my view, driving using a rear view mirror will not make much progress. Instead, we should be asking ourselves, now that the king is in town, how can we leverage on the visit? We should be asking ourselves fundamental bilateral questions around economic peace and security, so that we become big players at the global level. But now, expecting the king to come and deliver an apology is extreme.
So what about the atrocities committed? Because are you saying Kenyans, and especially those affected, should just forget about what happened not very long time ago? It was about 60 years ago. Should they just forget? About 90,000 people are documented to have been killed by a very brutal British rule. Should they just forget?
No. They shouldn't forget. If they've got fundamental issues, they can make their way to the United Kingdom, get some lawyers, and use the British legal system to get compensation. But expecting the king who is coming on a visit in Kenya to come with an apology. Essentially, if the king offers an apology, he'll be admitting liability. And then everybody will now run to the courts in the UK to sue them. And also expecting the king to make, or rather to offer an apology, means that the people expecting that apology do not understand how the UK system works, despite the fact that they were our colonizers. They need to know that the person who can make a substantive apology is actually the Prime Minister, whose DNA is connected to Kenya. Understand that the Prime Minister's father was in a school in Kenya called Highway. He speaks good Swahili. They can even speak to him in Swahili and tell him these are our issues. Or maybe use the UK justice system. But expecting the king to come and deliver an apology is a tall order, and probably exposes their lack of understanding of how their systems work.